In the previous video, we found out that villagers distribute onto walls by their selection order as well as by the order of wall placement. But there are a few questions which that video left unanswered. Does drag box selection behave differently if we drag the mouse cursor in a different direction? Is there a way we can drag a box around a group of diverse units and only select the ones we want? How exactly does the selection order work when double-click is used? What if the number of wall tiles is larger than the number of villagers? And are the behaviors consistent through all the versions of the game? Let's start with the question I left assumed in the last video. The matter of which way we drag the mouse cursor when we select my drag box. Commenters astutely observed that I always drag the mouse cursor in the same direction as the selection order. This observation suggests that the selection order would change direction if the box was dragged from the other way. But after trying this assumption out, it quickly becomes clear that villagers selected by drag box will always have selection ordered from north to south or from top to bottom. A lonesome group of villagers is not necessarily what players will have in an actual match. Selection boxes usually cover a considerably larger area than that which the villagers themselves occupy. One commenter informed that you can actually choose from the settings what selection drag covers and even to have it exclusively select military or civilian units. This was something I did not know about. Under the Game tab in Options, we can enable a toggle setting called Selection Modifier Hotkeys. As the tooltip astutely points out, if we hold Ctrl while dragging a box, only military units will be selected. If we hold Alt instead, only civilian units will be selected. Finally, we will tackle the matter of double-click selection. As pointed out by a commenter in the previous video, an easier way to detect selection order is deleting the units. When placing walls, villagers might move about, making it harder to track the individuals. If we delete the selection one unit at a time, we can observe that the order of deletion always matches the selection order. When deleting a group selected by double-click, the villager who was double-clicked is always the first to go. Following that, the rest of the villagers are deleted from top to bottom just if they were selected by drag box. But remember how double-clicked villagers behaved differently in the previous video? That suggests that something more is going on here. A good idea from a commenter was that just because creation order was irrelevant with drag box selection doesn't mean it has to be irrelevant with double-click selection. If we test a creation order again with double-click selection, we can see that the creation order does actually matter with double-click, whereas it makes no difference if you're selecting by drag box. One selection method I did not mention in the previous video is selection by the Select All Idle Villagers hotkey. Testing this method out, it goes by creation order just like with double-click, except the first villager will also be by creation order. In summary, drag box selection will order them from top to bottom. Double-click selection will order them from the villager which was double-clicked and creation order from there. Select All Idle Villagers hotkey will order them by creation order. Control group selection will be in the order the units were in when they were first assigned to the control group. In the test so far, we have had the exact same number of villagers as the number of wall tiles. Of course, in a more realistic scenario, the player would have fewer villagers building than the number of wall tiles. So how would the number of villagers distribute onto a larger amount of wall tiles? Putting this to the test, we can observe that the first villager always goes to the first wall tile, and the second villager to the last wall tile. The villagers in between will go to tiles with a relatively even distance to each other. But all of this was tested in the definitive edition. Can we really assume that all of the same behaviors are true in earlier editions of the game? Testing this out, both HD Edition and Age of Kings display no discrepancies in the same tests, which would suggest that all the selection methods behave the same throughout all editions of Age of Empires 2. That was all for this video. I would like to express thanks for the many comments on the previous video for good insights, and I hope you enjoyed this little follow-up video as well. If you did, don't forget the like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.